evening, Central Luzon. You're watching Business Unusual, and I'm your host, Sonia P. Soto. Most businesses in the world have been severely affected by the pandemic financially. This is why, during this unstable situation, it is critical for enterprises to rely on financial experts who will lead them through these uncertain times in the global economy. Accountants are one of these experts. But what exactly is the role of an accountant and how important are they in the business world? We'll find out straight from our guest tonight, Mr. Marco Nang. Mr. Marco Nang is a recognized public accountant not only in the Philippines but overseas as well. He has worked in the biggest accounting firms in the country and in the United States before he decided to establish his own firm, which aims to help their clients achieve their financial objectives. Let's meet the man of the hour, Mr. Marco Nang, co-owner of AB&C Partnership Firm. Welcome to the program, Mr. Marco Nang.
Thank you, Ma'am Sonia, for having me today with your program, and good afternoon to everyone.
I am interested to find out why you chose to become an accountant.
Okay, that's actually, I think it's actually based on the passion that I had during my high school days. One of our subject was about accounting, and I actually aced the subject, wherein I always got the perfect score whenever we had to do some entries. So for some reason, I have the acumen to understand the basic of the balancing of the amounts of the debits and the credits. And at that time, during my high school years, most of the assignments and some of the projects that are being asked by college students were being, first year college students were being coursed through me, and actually answered them, and actually had some additional income during my high school years for doing some other assignments. So actually, it was during that year. I don't really, I didn't see any difficulty in adjusting to the basics of accounting. Maybe because of my upbringing. During our younger years, we were being asked or tasked by our aunties and uncles to do some bookkeeping in our stores here, in our small business here in Palibago. So I was the one doing the inventories. So maybe that's the reason why I got accounting quite easy during the high school year.
No wonder you are a lecturer.
That's actually
Thank you for the information. That was one free lecture for me. Okay.
No, it's okay.
You were a ICPA awardee, a national award at that in 2017. And though it is kind of late to congratulate you, I'd like to congratulate you for bringing honor to Pampanga as one of the best accountants in the Philippines.
Every profession has its own pros and cons, and being in certain professions, such as in our case, we need to be passionate about what we're doing. Again, secondary is the awards, but again, if you really want to succeed, you just need to focus on the passion. And again, Ma'am Sonia, the reason that I actually had the chance to work to get my CPA accreditation or certification in the US as a US CPA, I was given the chance to work there for 3 years in New York. I actually also worked in 6 months in LA, also doing fraud investigation and accounting services in a big firm, and then transferred to New York for 3 years to actually also do a fraud investigation and audit, and sometimes internal audit services to large multinational companies and hedge fund companies in New York. So we always, probably it's because I was just lucky that I got noticed by the firm here in Manila. So they actually had me brought into the US in order for me to have those experience. And I was actually lucky and blessed to be noticed by those firms.
Yeah. But you also had a short stint in Japan?
Actually, we not only in Japan, but also in Singapore and Malaysia. Because during my stay in the largest auditing firm, they had us travel a lot. So I wasn't really spending a lot of time in the Philippines. I was actually always going out of the country. We would work in Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, China. So they always had me packing, going to different places to do some special audits. Again, those audits are not actually the regular audit that we see here in the Philippines, but more or less it's focusing on a investigation. Aside from a CPA standpoint, I also conduct fraud investigation during those periods. And I had to review a lot of, again, financial transaction that relates to a lot of misappropriation of funds. And normally our report are being used in the, again, the judiciary setup there in order for them to, again, conduct their own assessment to if ever there would be any filing to be done against certain individuals. So we were being, again, subcontracted by foreign companies in those areas because the fees for Filipinos at that time are much cheaper. So that's the reason why we always get those projects. So we also got lucky because we have a very competitive pricing.
May I know about your educational background? Do tell us, because you know there are young people watching us. They might want to know what is it that they need to do in order to become one Mr. Nang in the future.
No, actually, everyone gets the chance, really. It's just maybe probably a lot of luck or blessings from the heavens that actually got into this, again, current position that I occupy. But in reality, during my college days, I would say I'm an above average student. But again, I got involved into what we called a student council. So I was actually a student council during my stint in the college days. I also had a passion to lead some of my co-students in our schools, in our university in Holy Angel. So that's actually one of the major, again, things that I was doing that was occupying my time during my college days. I wasn't really purely into just reading the books, answering problems. I also into civic works during those days. So any activities from the school, I was involved. Trying to get sponsors for certain activities, I was involved. So my inter and intrapersonal skills were developed. I was able to talk to a lot of big people already. Again, I mean, people that are already established when we had to talk to sponsors, such as before, when Sir Levila was still alive, we actually requested some funding from him. So I had to go there in your office there to actually get that approval. So I had a chance to discuss with a lot of big peoples in Pampanga before. So communicating with them was developed during my college days because I had a lot of extracurricular activity on top of my college activities. So I guess that is the background that I had. But again, it's just a matter of you trying to manage your time, especially during I mean, right now, I cannot say about how the students manage their time because of a lot of distraction because of technology such as the Facebook and, you know, social media. At the time, Ma'am Sonia, we didn't have that type of distraction. The way that we communicate is through text and call, and other than that, there's really no fast internet. So the only way for us to get a lot of reading materials is going to the library, reading traditionally. And then, again, we do a lot of research by going, you know, really doing the field work. And like now, the research is just very easily done by just going to Google, no? Google was a game changer for the new generation. But during our time, during 2000 until 2005, it wasn't this easy. The real change happened in 2006 in the advent of Facebook and other social networks. So it opened up a lot of opportunities. So again, for those that are listening, those youngsters, I guess they just focus on how they balance and manage their time, and then make sure that they will be able to succeed in first overcoming their degree, finishing their college, and then again planning for the board exam, and then looking for an employer that will become more or less their mentor in the next, maybe in the next business or next life or next profession they want. Again, the reason I chose to be going to Makati is for me to get exposed to how to run a business. That's just what I'm doing right now. And again, the first choice is plan ahead. So choose the employer that you want to be with so that you can expose and get the right training and experience.
But what made you decide to establish your own business, your own firm?
Actually, that's something that we should adhere to. No? If we don't want just to become an employee for life. We want to have something that we can be proud of. So what I'm doing right now is a legacy that I want to leave my family, my kids. So at least when I grow old, I can tell them this was a business that I established from scratch, and this is the one that fed us, this is the one that got you, this is the one that gave you your degree. So you have to be proud of what my commitment was. This is my blood and sweat manifested. It's so easy for you to say that you work hard, you gave your blood and sweat. It's so easy to say that, but when you want to establish a legacy, you have to live it in a way that people can see it, and people can actually know that you left something. That's the reason why I have this firm. I'm handling 36 people right now, and these people are different character, personality, and I have my own building. So at least now my own business is something that is I'm very proud of.
So you have a building with your name on top of it.
I already had that I had in college. Now I made it in reality. So the building itself has my name on top of it.
Yeah. Where is it located? Tell us.
Actually, it's here in Balibago. It's along MacArthur Highway. It's in Montang Avenue. Okay, we're just across Max's Balibago. Also owned by Sir Levy. So you can just look it in Google, and then across the street where Montang is, my building is there. It's a pink building. I have it colored pink so that it's easy to be distinguished among all those buildings here in Montang.
And you have 36 clients.
Employees. My client is around
200 clients.
Yeah.
Your colleagues are 36.
Yeah, there are 36 people under me right now. Okay, I segregated them in different departments. I have my audit team, my tax team, my advisory team, my SEC team, my GovCom team, and then I have my admin team. That is like a support team to those operational team. So each of them are being headed by one senior together with the supervising senior, and then I have my managers, and I have my partner that actually goes into different reviews of different work that they do before it goes to my table for the final review and release to the client, and then we discuss it normally to the client and explain to them what happened, and then at the same time we provide the report that is necessary for them to comply with different agencies such as SEC, BIR, and LGUs. So that's actually how I establish it. So it's not just a one-man team, it's actually a group that conducts different services to around 200 plus clients right now, here in Angeles and also in the northern area and Manila area. So I have also Manila clients that I actually handle.
Welcome back to Business and Usual. You're still with me, Sonia P. Soto. Tonight we have with us a successful accountant and a director of the Metro Angeles Chamber of Commerce and Industry Incorporated, or MACC, Mr. Marco Fernando Nang. Tell us exactly what your business does in support of
other businesses.
Yeah.
Okay. The work of an auditor or accountant here in the Philippines is to aid and help a lot of the businesses in understanding how their money was utilized and how they pay their taxes correctly and how do they comply to those. So normally, to run a business, you need to understand how to record certain transactions and to comply with payment of certain taxes, and again certain fees, to government agencies from BIR, SEC, GTI, LGU. So we take away the portion of the business wherein they need to think about this. They need to comply and create their own department, make their own people, create their own division for that to specifically handle this. So we are the one that takes they take that load out of their costing. Namely, if you do that, you need to employ an employee and then get them work for you 5 days or 6 days, and then pay them specifically for doing this job. And normally, sometimes those employees, you hire them directly from schools or university. They don't have the same experience that we do in order for it to handle certain complexity of compliances with the BIR, SEC, or
Yes.
LGU. And then at the same time, the basics of accounting is normally in the undergrad, they only teach them. Majority right now I see is they're very lacking in terms of the basic of accounting because most of them are being prepared or groomed to pass the board exam where each the exam is based on a multiple choice question. So it's like a choice or an itemized question wherein the answer is already there. You just need to pick the right answer. When in fact, as I told you ma'am earlier, ma'am, accounting is how you try to identify and then at the same time try to define what happened and put it in the right place in order for the report to be given to shareholders, stakeholders, or any users to understand what is the position of the business and how did the business earn for a current period. So that's actually how you look into it. So we take away
Yeah.
certain work from that company in order for them to focus more on their operation. So
Exactly.
pagdating sa recording ng kanilang transactions, sa kanilang booking, we help them out. We assist them in
Yes.
order for them to comply with taxes. So at least they can run the business smoothly. So that's how we help
Yes.
them out.
Okay. Kailangan pala mag-enroll kami sa'yo.
Ay, hindi ma'am, bakit ma'am?
Where do you also teach? Because I know you are an active
Lecturer.
lecturer. Yes.
Prior to me becoming an active lecturer with my co-CPAs, I actually teach before, but I already stopped that due to the fact that my time for my office and at the same time my seminars to other CPAs takes a lot of my time to prepare.
Yeah.
So I cannot prepare for the undergrad. Although I had a chance to teach in the review school wherein we prepare CPAs for the upcoming board exam. But my forte at that time was just audit and taxation. So I do not teach the whole subject of the board, but only a certain portion of it. So now I'm still an active lecturer, ma'am, with my co-CPAs. That's where I teach a lot. I train my colleagues in order for them to remember what they should be doing and continuing their professional education, as they say, as the saying goes. So that's how I teach. That's what my current lecture doing. I teach professionals.
Yeah. Do you have any, let's say, wish list or complaints
What do you
when
mean
it
complaints?
comes to government regulations affecting the way people run their business in the Philippines?
Comment.
Meron ka bang, kasi syempre magkaiba yan, di ba? Sa US, sa
Of
Japan,
course.
Malaysia, Singapore. Pagkatapos, Pilipinas, back to reality. Sabi nga, di ba?
What I can compare, Ma'am Sonia, would be the US setup, wherein businesses are very easy to open and very easy to actually regulate. Well, when I say easy to regulate, because you can actually open a business there only via email or online. My experience in the US gave me a huge eye-opener in terms of how the practice is being done there because everything is electronic. We don't do manual thing. We don't even visit any of the agencies there. We only email all of the requirements to those agencies, and the agency will immediately respond to you 24 hours that your application is approved, your application is pending, and then they will just tell you what you need or your application is denied. In the Philippines, you still need to use paper-based. You know, you have to go there, walk,
Yes.
submit. And you know, in the US, that the way that they invested in their IT infrastructure and or what we call internet gateway is it's heavily invested by the government. That is where they put in most of their budget in order for it to be improved. So that at least they can have what we call an economic return when they have lesser people manning certain works in the agency. And then, you know, it's just the computer that does everything or it doesn't require a lot of manpower to do it. It's the computer that does it for you. And that is the one thing that I can say in the Philippines. We are lagging behind in terms of how we run a business and open a business here in the Philippines. Just opening a business here requires at least 60 days to finish, end to end. And you need to have people moving, running. Unlike in the US, they can do it within 3 days. And then the other side is it is self-regulated. When it's self-regulated, the US government and the state government allows you to operate for a certain period. And they will see if you will be doing the right thing by filing the correct state taxes, by filing the correct federal taxes. And then once they actually notice that you are filing, okay, they will audit you. It's a post audit. Everyone gets audited.
Mm-hmm.
So they will audit you via phone only, via phone. Even employees are audited via phone. In the Philippines, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, the people before they start, they always have a lot of bureaucracy. You get tested, and then, there are so many delays. There are so many area to put in so much effort and time, and then because of that, because of this bureaucracy, people tend to want it easier, streamlining this by paying off. So that is where corruption enters. Unlike in the US, there is no face-to-face individual talking to you unless it is necessary for it. Like, for example, if you need to get your license, you need to go there and present yourself to have yourself pictured, and at the same time take the actual exam and take the actual driving exam. That is the only time that you need. But you need to schedule. Unlike here, it's just walking. So there's so many things that you need to improve. So even taxes, taxes there, they can easily pass, extend, even file everything online. There's no manual. You don't need to go to the bank and queue and pay. Everything is done online. And everyone there is required to have their own bank account. Here in the Philippines, it's an option. But there you have to have your bank account. Why? Because your refund for your income tax, because in the US they always have a refund because they get withhold taxes at a higher rate, and then when you calculate and then considering all the deduction, you will get a refund. You get it debited directly to your bank account. That's the beauty of their business, seamless. Here in the Philippines, it's still a dream.
Yeah. Okay. Sir Marco, I'd like to find out from you, meron bang specific challenges or impact yung COVID, yung pandemic sa inyo, sa inyong business, or the business you handle in general within your network as an audit firm? Anong klaseng impact ang binigay ng pandemic sa inyo?
Well, the first thing was a great challenge for us on how we file most of the requirements because ang hirap magbayad because the time of the banks are actually restricted. In addition to that, there was also a restriction on the people coming in. Thus, some of the businesses that we handled needed to be closed. And I actually had a lot of business that closed down during the pandemic last year. And still, a lot of them owe us some money for the services we done. But again, we are not forcing them to pay immediately. We know that the time of recovery is still not yet here. But eventually, when they recover, I know they will be able to settle some of those services that we done to them. But we hope that other businesses may be able to recover. But right now, COVID actually impacted us because there was no money coming in. There are no people going out, so there is no type of service request from other clients or goods being requested from other, except for certain essential businesses such as groceries, and then hospitals, and then obviously doctors are earning a lot right now, and then of course businesses such as funerals and crematoriums are earning a lot right now. And it's a negative one to hear, but it's a positive side on their part. But certain businesses are earning because of the pandemic, and certain businesses really lost livelihoods because of this pandemic, because of the restriction of people coming in. And in our case, we are still blessed to still have some clients that are still able to pay us. And I'm still praying and paying some of those expenses of those supposed to be paid to us. But again, it's something that I hope that in the near future we will be able to recover. So I guess that's what I can sum it up. It really killed the livelihoods of a lot of my business clients here.
Sir Marco, thank you for sharing your story and your journey with us. We've learned a lot from you. I'd like to ask you for your parting message to our viewers, if you have any particular message that you'd like to leave as we close this conversation.
Thank you, Ma'am. Well, I'd like just to share to everyone listening and watching your show, Ma'am Sonia, that again, running a business is actually something that you need to be passionate about. And at the same time, our service here is actually like a partner of your business, complementary, taking away certain complexities and certain technicalities on some of the compliance with the regulatory agencies here in the Philippines. So we are an auditing firm that provides this type of service and assistance. And for a lot of us businessmen, like me, a business owner, I would like to ask and share everyone that, again, let's pay the right taxes and then let's contribute to the coffer of our country. Even if you see a lot of negative things such as corruption, at least you did your part and you are not part of the problem, but you are part of the solution. And I hope that you don't lose hope in our country, in our city, here in Angeles, here in Central Luzon. Try to run your business, try to survive for the next few years, and then we will recover. I know there's a lot of you treading the thin line of whether you close down your business or again, just pack up and just wait for the next one. But again, a lot of employees, people are depending on businesses, small businesses here in Central Luzon. So I hope the government, the province, just don't give out, dole out ayudas to marginalized individuals, but also help and aid some of our businessmen. We are trying to survive in this pandemic and we will try to recover by next year. And I'm hoping that all the small business owners such as me will be able to survive the next wave of this pandemic. And I hope that, again, through your program, Ma'am Sonia, the government agencies, the local and the provincial, will be able to help also the small businesses, not just the marginalized. It's easy to lose those money, but if you help a business, it will actually double or extend the life of other people depending on that business. So I hope the provincial and the local government will understand how they will be able to help out other small businesses such as us. Okay, ganun lang, ma'am. Okay, with that, that's it, ma'am.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Ma'am Sonia.
Sir Marco, for sharing these insights with us. Salamat. Luwig
Nakal
ka.
pong salamat. Lugod po. Ingat po. Bye po.
Ingat. Stay safe. Bye.
Stay safe, bye.
Don't change your channel. When we return, we'll show you how to eat out in the new normal way.